Good morning and welcome to episode 40. Am I correct? Yes, I am correct. Episode 40. We started it 40 episodes ago, and here we are. And the more I do this, the more I learn. And not there yet, but doing my best to perfect these abilities, communicative abilities of talking to a camera. I would love to be talking to you directly with people, as we usually did here at the Nehemiah School of Government. But here we are. Let's use the tools that the Lord allows us to access, right? So that we can communicate with more people in a more efficient way. So this week we have been studying two books, actually three books, and I'm going to show them again. So the first one is, let me just do this. Yeah. Full screen. Generations, the History of America's Future from 1584 to 2069 by William Strauss and Newhow. We're going to be ending our week with this book tomorrow. This book being written in 1997, The Fourth Turning, what the cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny. And again, remember, fourth turnings mean crisis. And then the book that Newhow alone, after the passing of William Strauss, wrote in 2022, The Fourth Turning is Here, What the Seasons of History Tell Us About How and When the next crisis will end. So I have been telling you that I'm wired on these things. I love studying and reading and listening to podcasts and watching people, Christians and non-Christians, talk about what is coming in our horizon. I'm 57 years old. I already have two grandbabies. One of my requests to my Creator is that I can at least live to put on my arms and have on my laps the son of one of my grandbabies, or the daughter of one of my grandbabies, my great grandbaby, right? And if he allows me to do that, it means that I'm going to live between 20 and 25 more years, which means that in the speed things are going on right now, and it's so much accelerated, and I believe that you agree with me, things are going to escalate very fast toward a new America, new era in the American history. So understanding the times, again, based on that scripture on First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32, one of the tribes that were granted or gifted by God with the skill of understanding what was going on in their present and also what Israel should do, meaning, okay, how to prepare for the future. And today we're going, well, those are the books that we have been talking about. Newhow is right there. We're talking about the fourth turning, which means crisis between 2008 and it may last to 2030. Just recapping here what we've been talking about the whole week. We're in a crisis after three turnings: the high, the awakening, the unraveling. Now we are in another crisis. And today, let me read this quote from the book to you, because yesterday we were talking about how fourth turnings promote social transformations, and he says that the transformations are always aimed at the community. So from individualism to community, from defiance to authority, to acceptance of authority, from postponement to permanence, from inertia to character. And this is what Newhow says. This is a quote from his book, The Fourth Turning is Here. When the winter has come to an end, A transformed America will once again feel like a different country. There was a typo there. Different. I'm sorry about that. Different country. The new generation will reach an entirely new understanding of its role in history. At that moment, at the moment that this new generation reaches an entirely new understanding of its role in history, looking back, we will finally recognize that what a wise man once observed at the very dawn of modernity. And he quotes another, as he says, wise man and a philosopher. He said, the past resembles the future more than one drop of water resembles another. And he is in line with what we read in the Word of God in the book of Ecclesiastes, that Solomon says, there's nothing new under the sun. You remember that, right? So yesterday I said that we were going to be talking today about how to prepare. What are his first Newhow and William Strauss, and then Newhow alone 2-3 years ago. How to prepare. How should America look at everything that is going on right now and looking at what's coming at the pike and on our horizon, and how should the country get ready? And then how should we individually, personally, as a family, as an individual in our community should be doing from now on? And this is where we're going right now. Number one, how should America prepare for the crisis? He says, number one, America should prepare values. So thinking about each one of these points that I'm going to bring to your attention now from the book, I would like for you to think about which candidate, right now we have Trump and Kamala Harris, which of them are more ready or more aligned to these propositions that Newhow brings to our attention. Which of them are more in harmony with the contents of each one of these bullet points here that I believe are extremely important? And then make your decision. So number one, America should prepare values, forge the consensus, and uplift the culture without expecting near-term results. So which one of the candidates have been willingly preparing values, good values, decent values, and forging a consensus and trying to uplift the culture without expecting near-term results? So I see Trump expecting near-term results. He believes that in the next 4 years, he can bring success to the country again. And this may happen, but that is not my focus. My focus is on the first portion of this proposition. Which of them is forging, or at least doing something, trying to forge consensus, to uplift the culture? I believe Trump is, right? With all his flaws, with all of his imperfections, it's very clear to me, I don't know if you agree with me or not, that Kamala Harris is not trying to forge consensus. She is not trying to uplift the culture. And we see their campaigns and what they've been doing, and it is just sad. It's a sad situation to see her campaign. Number two, prepare institutions. Clear the debris and find out what works, but do not try building anything big. So I see Trump willing to build something big. If that was not the case, it would not be Trump, right? He wants to build something very big again in 4 years. But that's not where my attention is. The first portion of this proposition is where my focus is. Who is willingly trying to and doing their best to propose that to the American people? Hey guys, let us clear everything around us. Let us clear the debris. Let us try to find out what works, to create consensus, to uplift the culture, to bring the American people together, to redefine and rekindle the American identity. I believe Trump has trying to do that, at least trying to do that. Prepare politics. Number three, define challenges bluntly, and stress duties over rights, but do not attempt reforms that cannot be accomplished now. And once again, I see Trump doing that, the second portion of the proposition, proposing to us reforms that probably will not be accomplished now. If you read the the Trump 47 proposition, and now he's trying to distance himself from the Project 2025. I'm not going to go there because somehow some of his people, some of his folks, were part of the team that produced created the Project 2025. Anyways, not going there. But in his Project 47, right, the 47th president, he is trying to build things big, but to rearrange, to reorganize, to coordinate ways of clearing out everything that is so clearly busted, destroyed around us, especially in terms of our culture. He's trying to do that. And he is trying to define challenges and to stress duties over right. When he says America first, when he says make America great again, that means much more duties than rights. I don't know if you agree with me, but that's the way I see this. Number 4, how should America prepare for the crisis? Prepare the society. So the next president should require community teamwork to solve local problems, but do not try this on a national scale. I don't see any of the candidates trying to do this. Both of them are very, very much focused on the national level. But we know that the communists, we know that the mindset of the left is to start from bottom up, is to start in the community. This is why they have been infiltrating our local communities and all of our values for almost 100 years. They understand that much more than we on our side of the political spectrum do. This is why they have been so much successful and more efficient than we have been. Right now, we have people with very strong voices in the country calling the American people, especially the ones who consider themselves to be on the right side of the political spectrum, calling them to work in the local level again. Hey, guys, let's go back to your community. Come back to your community. Charlie Kirk has been doing this. Dinesh D'Souza has been doing this. Many very powerful voices out there. Tucker Carlson, for this matter, has been talking about let's rebuild from scratch in the local level. Let's start here. This is what we call grassroots. This is the reason, this is the result of the mindset of the founding fathers, from local, from bottom up, right? So number 5, prepare the youth. Treat the children as the nation's highest priority, but do not do the work for them. Which of the candidates has been focusing on the youth, on the children, on preparing the next generation and the 2-3 next generations? So put that into your equation when you look at both candidates to try to decide where your vote is going to be. Right? To me, the vote right now is so clear. Although we do not agree, I do not agree with a lot. It's not a little, it's a lot of Trump's messaging and the way he's been putting things out and the way he has been working toward even to distance himself from very critical and relevant issues for people like me. There is no way I would vote for Kamala Harris now, right? Number 6, prepare the elders. So first, prepare the children as the highest priority. But now, prepare the elders. Tell future elders that they will need to be more self-sufficient, but do not attempt deep cuts in benefits to current elders. And this is what Trump has been proposing. He just came up with this week, that the idea of not taxing Social Security. So this is contrary to Newhouse's proposition. And in the book, he is going to explain why he believes that no attempt should be made right now to cut deeply on the benefits of current elders. But I'm not going to go deep into that. First of all, because this is a very pragmatic moment in the history of the country. Probably Trump is not going to think about that now. As he says, he keeps saying that we need to win this election. So let's go populism full blown. Let's go populist full blown, and let's see. Let's do whatever we can to win this election this time, and then we can think about it as we go after he is in the White House. 2 final points. Number 7, how should America prepare for the crisis? Number 7, prepare the economy, correct fundamentals, but do not try to fine-tune current performance. So Trump has been somehow focusing on that. Economy, economy, economy. Let us correct it. Let us cut down inflation. By now, inflation is again in the window of 2 to 3%, but this has been creating impacts on the products, on our life, our everyday life. I was talking to a restaurant owner in Odessa last night for one of Javier's campaign meetings, and she said, I know myself personally of 5 small Mexican food restaurants in Odessa that have already closed, shut down their doors forever. And she said, I am on the verge of, because things are right now inaccessible, or prices are so high. She said, I have been paying right now in 2024 3 times, triple the amount of money for the products that I use for the Mexican food. Rice, beans, especially these 2, rice and beans. 3 times, triple. She said, my profits are gone. So correct fundamentals. This is somehow what Trump has been talking about, and Kamala has not even touched on that subject yet. At least we have not seen that so far. And number 8, I'm sorry. Correct there yourself. Number 7, and then number 8. Prepare the defense of the nation, expect the worst, and prepare to mobilize, but do not pre-commit to any response. So he is focusing here on what was going on in the world 3 years ago. But right now he has been writing articles, him meaning Newhouse, writing articles about the Ukraine and Russia war and the Israeli army, or Israel and Hamas, and now Hezbollah, China and Taiwan. He's saying we need to expect for the worst, and we need to prepare to mobilize, but not pre-commit to any quick, fast response, which is exactly what our military has been trying to do, not to engage, although they have been sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. And we already know that there are soldiers, American soldiers, on the ground in Ukraine and Russia right now. His proposition, Newhouse proposition, is we should not pre-commit to any response to anybody, not to Ukraine, not to Israel, not to Taiwan, or whatever war happens across the planet. Why? Because we should pay attention to our landmass, to our territory again. So now, how should we individually, and this is the part that is much more effective for us to get to know, how should we prepare individually for this crisis? According to Newhouse, number 1, he says we should rectify. What does that mean? It means to return to classic virtues: honor, integrity, decency, self-governance. And I am so sorry that I see another typo here. My goodness, I apologize for that. So these are the classic virtues that built up not only America, but the Western world. The civic and the classic virtues of honor, of integrity, of decency, of community values, of protecting each other, of selflessness, of self-governance, right? So I am so glad that he went there straight. This he went there first thing, right? Let us bring back virtues in a society, in our local community. Number two, converge. Says, do not isolate from community affairs. Do not isolate yourself. Engage. So I have been engaging in Javier's campaign for re-election in Odessa, but it is not only politically speaking. He's talking about engaging and do not isolate ourselves in all areas of society. We should engage in as board members of anything that is out there. I'm waiting for to start my board member, my service as a board member at the Hospice of Midland. Um, so we can, there's a lot that we can engage in the children arena, or the elderlies, or the immigrants, or churches in general, the hungry out there, people in our society, the homeless out there. There is a lot that we can and we should converge and engage, and do not isolate ourselves. And pretty much what he is going to talk about from now on is engage in the local level. Engage in the local level. Number three, bond. Build personal relationships of all kinds. Again, engage in the local level. Do not isolate yourself. Build relationships, because when the crisis hit for good and full-blown, full-blast crisis, we will need personal relationships built up in the local level. Number four, gather. Once again, prepare yourself and your family for teamwork, community work, engage. Number five, root. Look to your family for support. And here is what should have been the first or the second topic, because looking at our family and looking to our family and looking for our families should be the very first action that we engage with in times of crisis. And number six, brace. Gird yourself for the collapse of public support mechanisms. And again, think about when the federal government is collapsing, when the crisis is coming, as it happened in 2008, as it happened in 1929, in the collapse of the New York exchange market. I mean, I just read stories about what happened in history books. I read it when I was in school. And what a tragedy. And this is the moment when we build up, and we have to get very much focused on the local level. And this is what churches, God's people, Christians, this is their best, the moment for their best performances. Because when the Republican Rome, the Roman Republic, and then the empire was falling apart, guess who helped everybody? Guess who was there for everybody? The Christians were. So we are having now another opportunity of doing this. So this is the lesson on preparation. How should America prepare? How should we locally and individually prepare for what's coming? I believe that we are going to see a deeper crisis. Everything is so hard right now. Everything's so difficult for many people out there. So much right here in the local level, in the Permian Basin, Midland, Odessa, Andrews, Big Springs, Stanton, this area here. We might not see, as I said the other day, we might not see that crisis because everything looks fine, looks in its place. We go to the market, all the products are there, no empty shelves. We can bring products home. It might be less than we used to do in the past, but we still can feed our family and bring food to the table and pay bills. But I believe that something more catastrophic, more dramatic is coming in our horizon. It's coming in ahead of us. And we need to engage as a community. And the more we do that, as I have been saying here in Midland, at the Nehemiah School of Government for at least 4 years. We now need to know not only the cell phone of our personal and closest friends, especially the elderlies. We must know more than that. We must know where they physically live, so that whatever happens, if the internet, if the cell phone communications go down, we are able to know where they are and to rush there and help them and do something and act upon that in a way that could show Christianity, or the Christianity that we apply, how much we love Christ by loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. So this is the lesson for today, preparation. And tomorrow I'm going to wrap up the week with the conclusions of this week on the fourth turning. And the fourth turning is here, and what they are seeing or envisioning or predicting for what is going to come in our horizon between now, 2024, and 2030. And of course, this is only new how, as the guy that is alive, out of the two writers of the book. As I said many times now, William Strauss passed a couple of years ago. What is he proposing between now and 2030, which it aligns pretty much with Peter Zion's book, The End of the World is Just a Beginning, in terms of America paying attention to herself, nationalism, more nationalism, less globalism. We're going to be there tomorrow to conclude this week's series on the fourth turning is here. God bless you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.